Hey, how's it going? My name is Joe. Thank you for visiting my channel. As you can see from the title and the thumbnail, I'll be talking about the Might and Magic brand in this video. This is almost like an open letter also to Ubisoft if they ever concern themselves by watching these things on YouTube or concern what their gamers think. But there's a bit of a concern in the fan base. We've been celebrating Might and Magic for 30 years now, and the game doesn't belong to a Eastern world country. Universal game that everyone plays around the world. And in this video I've decided to make a presentation to sell the idea of where I think Might and Magic ought to go, and as the title says, the Might and Magic that we deserve. Now I've asked AI to help with a few pre-visualization concepts to sell the idea, not as a final result. I know there's a lot of anti-AI people that's stuck in this groupthink mentality. I'm an artist myself. I illustrate, paint, write, storyboard, 3D modeling. I'm an artist myself, and my job has been replaced long ago, but I understand that AI can be a tool to be used to use as a concept so that you can move towards the final stages with the manual labor and with the 3D modeling. And my hypothesis to you is that I believe Might and Magic is a realism brand, and it needs to be treated in realism with realistic 3D models and in an engine like Unreal Engine or Unity, and create a Might and Magic game done with realism. For some odd reason, Ubisoft employs production companies and game directors that doesn't understand the brand, so whenever they bring out a new game, it looks like a cell phone app, cartoony Candy Crush type of thing, and we as the fans, we don't understand why that is. If you look at 3DO's past, you can see they were moving towards 3D modeling and realism. So I know I've had this argument with someone before that they say, no, look at Heroes 1 and 2, that's very cartoony. But what they don't understand is the 3DO game developers were trying to create realism but were limited by the technology. And you can see when they brought out Heroes 4, the direction that they were taking, and also Might and Magic 9, they were moving towards that 3D modeling realism. And hopefully with this video I can present a few concepts just to show that Might and Magic can be truly epic in its realism form, and hopefully Ubisoft can capitalize on this video. So let's kick off with Heroes first. So I've asked ChatGPT to just recreate some screenshots for me as if it's done with 3D modeling, Blender models, and as if it's done in the Unreal Engine. And these are the results I've received. I just simply created a simplistic UI to go along with this, and with some extra additional map icons so that just to paint in the picture. But hopefully you can see what I mean by the realism, the realistic map textures from the snowlands, the mixed terrain maps, the grasslands, the swamplands, and also the underground maps. I was shocked to see what really awesome this could be done properly in an engine, where you can see those blackout areas on the underground map can be like areas that shows depth, and you see the corridors shaped pathways that you take, and still the same camera height and angle as known for the Heroes games, and you can see how truly beautiful it can be. A similar thing with the combat maps, still realism as a big component. I know Ubisoft has done the widescreen, bit of a top angle view for the combat maps. I'm okay with it, I'm not against it totally, but I think if you truly want to honor Might and Magic, go back to the roots and show this perspective, but also not restrict the player. They can still move the camera however they want, but you can see what I mean by capturing the realism even within the combat maps. Here's a great example of how cool a surrounding battlefield castle map, combat map can look like, with the castle in the middle, and you can put your 7 units around the castle, and also the opponent has their 7 units inside the castle with defending towers and such. So that sort of thing can look really cool if in addition to something new to add to the franchise. But obviously going back to the standard formation of the combat map still looks cool, just with a beautiful realistic vibe. Now, I didn't ask AI to visualize inside of a castle. I think Olden Era did a fairly good job apart from the cartoony style, but I think we've all seen how awesome it really can be. We've all seen that video from the guy who created the castle town in Unreal setting. That sort of thing is really awesome. You can imagine for yourself the potential that it can be. Now, if I were to bring out a new Heroes game, I would give it 20 factions. I would create a Heroes game that rules them all. I would create a Heroes game that knocks Heroes 3 off its throne by honoring what they've done, and also implement what they've done in an Unreal Engine type of fashion. I would give the players 20 factions to choose from, and also you've got your 7 creatures, but give the players 12 buildings, 12 creature buildings in each faction, so that they can choose whatever 7 they want to build in each faction. I would give more options to the player to utilize, but with the mechanics of Heroes 3 and some implementations of other Heroes games as well. I'm not taking anything away from them, but just to create a Heroes game that will last for the next 20 years. Look at what the fans have done with the mods and see how you can implement, even if you have to buy some of those things over, those licenses, but create a situation where you can, where players can choose one from 20 factions and enjoy generated maps that doesn't also lock you, so that the campaign maps is fine to do campaign maps or scenario maps, but also create the generating feature so that you can always enjoy Heroes in a new light. Now for the Might and Magic brand, the first-person RPG party style, the last one Ubisoft brought out was, I think, Legacy, Might and Magic 10 Legacy, and I was so frustrated and annoyed when they decided to gridlock people. I remember one of the game developers said, I know, let's gridlock people. Like, no gamer wants to be limited or restricted in their movement, especially in the Might and Magic brand. Might and Magic should be and ought to be an open world experience. Even if you do the sandbox thing, you can still do a really creative sandbox thing in today's technology. But I believe that our technology is there to create an open world situation where players fight these monsters and creatures. If you remember the Oblivion map, where you walk down the road and there's a cave, there's a crypt, and there's a fort, and there's a thing that you can go into, that sort of thing can be implemented in the Might and Magic franchise. It's a fantastic example of how it can truly look like with the remastered version. Now again, I just made a simple UI with these 4 heads. These 4 heads are not static images, they are alive, so the 3D heads are animated, so they just have a small movements, I would say, but they do grunts and they do yells, and they can even banter with one another in the RPG setting. If you walk into a town, there's a trigger that can activate one of their, they can talk to one another. But these heads are alive, and I just created a simple UI just to show you with what I've received from AI, some of the screenshots. Now you can see how awesome these things can look in realism, fighting these creatures or whatever exploration that you're taking. I did a bit of a UI in the inventory as well, and opening chests and that sort of thing. But the goal is just to show that Might and Magic is a realism brand, and you can imagine for yourself, knowing the tradition of Might and Magic, you fight bats and rats and snakes, and then all of a sudden vampires and lich kings and all sorts of creatures that you find in crypts and caves and tunnels. You can imagine how scary it truly is when you walk into a very like a maze type of mansion, and there are specters and there are vampire lords and ghouls and things that comes out and run towards you. That sort of thing can be truly scary and very immersive when you see these things in realism. Now obviously the most important criticism is that if you have 50 skeletons charging you, that can consume a lot of processing power. I'm fairly certain if you look at the tower defense games of today, when they have hordes of creatures attacking a fortress or something, I believe that this sort of thing can be done with today's technology. I don't think we are still restricted with that type of thing, but you can also go the cheap route by creating a 3D model and just take screenshots of the attack sequences or dying sequences and implement those sprites in an Unreal Engine as well, just to stay true to the tradition of Might and Magic. Now I've borrowed some screenshots from other YouTube channel creators. I hope they don't mind. They do AI stuff to make the Heroes 3 creatures come alive. So I just used some of those screenshots to show how beautiful, realistic these things can look with the UI in the first-person party member Might and Magic. Now, if I were to bring out a new Might and Magic game, I wouldn't call it Might and Magic 11. I would simply either do one of two things. The first direction I would go is to reboot the series, reboot World of Xeen, call it Might and Magic 1, and then World of Xeen as an open world experience, or Might and Magic 2 and then combine 6, 7, 8 also as an open world experience. I would go that route. Or the second route, I would go just on the other side of the planet and create a new story, a new Lord of the Rings type of story, but still the same creatures that we have experienced throughout Heroes 1 to whatever Heroes we are now, 8 or 9. Just give the players more and more and more so that they can enjoy and truly immerse themselves into an open world Might and Magic that is done with realism. And like this video says, this is the Might and Magic I believe we deserve. So Ubisoft here has a fantastic opportunity to capitalize on this concept. Give us a Heroes game, a turn-based Heroes game that's done with realism, and you want to play that Heroes game for the next 20 years. Give us a Might and Magic open world game that is so believable, so fantastic that when you go into a sewer system or you go into a crypt, you're scared to go around corners because these things charge at you, and fighting bats and rats and spiders with skulls on their heads. Those things are scary, and if done properly and with realism, you can imagine how that can be. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you will. Leave a comment if you disagree with me. I think most people will agree with me because we can see how awesome it can be. AI is not the final result. I'm using AI as a concept tool to pre-visualize what the final steps can be, and let's make some noise, and hopefully Ubisoft listens to us. Thank you for watching.